let's see. I'm gonna try something a little bit different. This is a 2025 CX-70. I have not looked at this vehicle. I don't even know what color it is. It's a CX-70 Premium. It doesn't even say the color. I don't know what the mileage is. The customer states screen black. Please advise. Infotainment screen is as should. The instrument panel is black. Unable to see any alerts, miles per hour, or mileage. So that's why there's no mileage on here, because the cluster is blacked out. So usually, you know, I get people that come in with these vehicles and they're complaining about their infotainment screen is black. And I've seen that a lot of times. So on this 7th gen infotainment system, you can actually hold the volume button down and it will turn the display screen, the infotainment screen, it'll turn it off. So if you don't want it like glaring in your face the whole time, like on a long trip or something like that, so it'll turn it off, it'll be black. Customers come in sometimes and they're like, I can't see what's on my infotainment, I don't know what's going on, it's black, and it's because they accidentally pushed that button and held it down, it went black, and they don't know that you can turn it off and turn it on. So usually I walk out there, hit the button, bloop, it'll come back on, there, fixed. This one's different. This one is the cluster. So I have no idea what's wrong with this thing. I haven't even seen the vehicle. So let's go see if we can find this vehicle and figure out, you know, what the heck is going on. Oh no. Okay, let's go. Let's go see if we can find this thing. We'll go out here in the parking lot and look around. I'm hitting the button. I can hear it. I can hear it way back there somewhere. I'm getting closer, 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 closer. I found it. It's black. Inline 6. CX-70. So now I guess they're putting these inline 6 cylinders in the CX-70, not just the CX-90. So let's get in here and see. It is hot and humid. It smells like a brand new car. So this is coming up. And they are right. I have nothing on this display screen at all. I'll roll these windows down. So it's not coming up. What about this? Try and turn this up. Hit it. Nothing. Nothing. Turn on the lights. Hit the brights. Nope. Not even a bright light. What about turn signal? Okay, so I wonder if it's got fuses missing. I mean, I don't know how many miles are on this thing, but if it had a new car get ready and a PDI done like it should have been, then the fuses should have been put in it. Maybe they weren't put in it, but this is a weird thing. So I'm just looking in the reflection of that Mazda head, and I'm turning the headlights on, and I'm not getting any lights, bright lights. I'm turning this thing. Turn signal, nothing. I'm looking. Let's put the left turn signal on. I got nothing. No turn signals. at all. It's not blinking. It's not even making a blinking noise. So the first thing that we're probably going to do is check our fuses. So that's the easiest thing to do. So I'm going to drive it in. And this thing has the same shifter as a CX-70. Hang on, I'm shifting with one hand. Okay, so let's shut her down. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is check the fuses. So there are specific fuses that the vehicle does not come with, or they don't come in whenever the vehicle is brand new. Whenever the PDI is done on it, the fuses are put in. Whenever the new car get ready is done on it, the fuses are double checked. So to get down in here, they make this like difficult to get to. So like, let me get a light. I'll grab a light real quick. And it's hard for me to tell looking right here. A lot of times when you look at these spaces, like there's some of the spaces like right here that have no fuses in them. What you can do is you can look on both sides, see if you see metal on both sides, then you have a bus on one side and then you have the item or whatever it is that is powering on the other side. And if you look and there's metal on both sides, then that means there's a fuse missing in that spot. Trying to find fuses in this thing is ridiculous because it doesn't say anything. You know, for instance, I want to find out what these fuses are over here that are missing. So I would look down here and all I get is F4, F3, F2. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? I don't know what that means. I'd have to look in the owner's manual. I would have to, you know, it would actually be easier for me to look in the owner's manual to find it than to try and look on MGSS, you know, to find out what the heck that is. But what I'm gonna do is just try and get a closer look here, which ain't easy to do. This right here, see if that thing stays. Right here, these three fuses, get a pointer, something I can point it. These three fuses right here look like they have metal on this side and they have metal on this side, which means there's probably supposed to be fuses in there. At least that's what I would think, you know, that there's probably fuses that are supposed to be there that aren't there. Why are they? Sometimes stuff happens and we can't explain it. It's unexplainable. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. So maybe that's it, maybe not. I need to find out what this F2, F3, and F4 mean so I can figure out what size fuses are supposed to be in there. I mean, maybe nothing's supposed to be there. But that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to go check and see if I can figure out what fuses are supposed to be there, and we'll just go from there. And if there's not supposed to be any fuses in there, then what I'll do is I'll take a test light and I'll go to each one of these fuses that are there and I'll check and see if we have a blown fuse or something. You would think that if the fuses are missing, then they go to that display And there's one thing that I just noticed. As this thing has a heads-up display, it's got this paper sitting in there. Let me just check this out real quick. Let's start it up. And I don't know if you can see that. I can see a reflection of the display from here. You might be able to see right up there. I can see 0. It says 0. I guess that's 0 miles an hour. I don't know, it just says 0. So the heads-up display is working, I guess, but it just says 0. Anyway, back to what I was saying. If the vehicle, you know, if it had a instrument cluster working before, and then it's not working now, you would think that it's impossible that those fuses are missing. But I've seen it before. It's like, has your display ever worked? Yeah, it worked before, but it's not working now. Well, you had fuses missing, which means somebody went in and took the fuses out. Well, after the customer took possession of the vehicle. So I'm not saying that that's what this case is. Of course, if that's what the case is, then it's a real easy fix for us, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna go do a little bit of research and find out what fuses are supposed to be in there, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I am going to go to MGSS, Mazda Global Service Support. And I have the customer's VIN. I'm going to put the VIN in, and I am going to look up fuse. Just do a search for fuse. Going to go to wiring diagrams. Sub battery fuse, main. Let's try this. Maybe. Nope, that's not it. Let's scroll through this. What is this thing doing? Fuse box. So I can bring this up. This is F30. That's not what we're looking for. Right? We're looking for F1. Is over here. 1, 2, 3. Number 3 is a 15 amp accessory. Accessory socket. So that one is missing a fuse. A 15 amp, 7.5 amp, and a 15 amp. That's in 3, 4, and 5. So these may be the ones that we're looking for. This says it's not used. Not used. Fuse rating, accessory socket. What are we looking at here? What is this? Okay, so this is not the fuse box that we're looking for. That's what a Jedi told me once. Said this is not the fuse box you're looking for. So we need to get out of this. Main fuse at 4, number fuse block, relay and fuse block. Let's try this. Right hand, left hand. Left hand is the driver's side, maybe. There it is. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So 2, 3, and 4, that's what we're looking for. According to this. Trailer towing. Trailer towing. Maybe that's why there's nothing in there. Trailer towing. Okay. Various circuits. Control various circuits. Control. See instrument cluster in here anywhere? Nope. electric starter relay, main relay, those are relays. Okay, so where are we looking, just to be sure? This is where we're looking right there. That's definitely what we need to look at. How about, let's go back here and let's look for cluster. Instrument cluster lens scratched. That's not what we're looking for. Let's go to wiring diagrams for instrument cluster. Let's just click on the first one because we have no idea what the heck that means. I'm still waiting for this thing to load. Okay. Main fuse. Let's back this up a little bit. What are we looking for? What is this? Windshield. This is a really long wiring schematic. So let's go back. We're looking for main power. Fuse and relay box. This F20, F19, F37, F29. Let's write these down. These are the main fuses right here. So you got main A, main B, and they're both 175 amp fuses, so those definitely aren't it. If those were bad, then the vehicle wouldn't even run. So let's just look at this. It's a 10 amp, 25 amp, and a 10 amp. And I'm gonna write those down, and then maybe we'll look at this one, the F37, it's a 30 amp. And we'll see, not sure. That's for relay. I'm not sure where this pink one goes. So this is, let's see, controller network. That's the BCM. These are the main powers. Look at this F15 fuse block, F03. So if I click on that, go to this fuse block, F03. Was it F3 or F03? Let's go back. It says F03 fuse block. F03 fuse block, F15 10 amp. Okay, so we're going to look at this F03. F15. Gray, 15. Fuse relay. Okay, let's go check this out. All right, I have this right here. I have these written down. So F20, 19, 29, 37. So looking at this 20, it's hard to see this thing. You gotta hold it at an angle. 19, 20, 29 is across. 37 is up there. 37 is a 30 amp. So just looking at this 30 amp. Okay, so those are in place. That's 29. Yeah, 10 amp. So they are there. Let's see if I can grab a test light. So the battery's way over there, right, as everybody knows. So I'm going to use this HECU, which is right below the brake master cylinder, as a ground right there. That'll work. Let's see if we got any power in here. Okay, let me check this. We got power, 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 power. That was 1, 2, 3, and then 37 is there. That's at 30 amp. I can't check that. If I try and look in there, it's hard to see. Doesn't look like it's blown. And then the next one is in FO3. So FO3 is actually the fuse block that's underneath the dashboard there. So looking at on FO3, which is the fuse block, we're looking at fuse F15, which is a 10 amp. So let's see if we can see anything underneath here. Look at this. Looking for a F15. Should be on the very bottom left. I don't know if y'all can see that. F15 bottom left. 10 amp right there. I need to find a ground for this test light. I am going to clip it on that bracket right there. Should be good. Want to check this. I may have to turn. No. So I got power there, and I got power there. Okay. So just for the heck of it, let me see. I'm gonna turn the key on. Hello, is it on? I can't tell because the display's black. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and check all these. Power, 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 power. Yep, 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 yep. 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 So this is the easy way to check and see if your fuses are bad. You don't have to pull the fuse out. If you got power on both sides, it's good. If you don't have power on either side, then that circuit is just not powered up. So let me pull this out. Let's do the same thing in here. So we always want to check our fuses first before going into any major diagnostics on an electrical issue like this. So I'm just going to go down the thing here. Yep. 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 Back the other way. Yep. 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 Come on, get in there. Back this way. Yep. 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 Okay, so all the fuses are good. So we need to move on to what's next. Obviously we're not getting any power to that cluster, so we may have to pull the instrument cluster out. I'm gonna look into something else. So we're not getting any so we have headlights, right? But we know that this thing wasn't coming on. Let's see if I hit the bright and dim. I got nothing. Turn signal, and the key's on, so I'm not getting any turn signal. So I might check there before pulling all of this apart. Let's check and see if we can follow another circuit, something easier. You know, what's easier? How can we do this the easy way? because you don't want to tear the entire dashboard apart to find out, hey, you didn't need to pull the dashboard apart. So I'm going to find out, I'm going to look at the circuits kind of the same way I looked for this fuse right here. I'm going to look in the wiring diagram for the circuits for the turn signal and headlamp switch, maybe, because I'm not getting anything from the headlamp switch. Yeah, and see if we can trace that down. We'll try and trace that down instead of just, you know, going right ahead and pulling the cluster out, because I'm sure, you know, that's really easy to do. So yeah, let me go check that and I'll be back. Okay, I'm dumb. Yeah, if you saw my video Mazda around the shop one, the first one, you're probably yelling at the screen when I was trying to find the wiring, you know, for the turn signals and trying to back trace that stuff. Yeah, it doesn't work like that, not anymore. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link up here, you can go check it out. In that video we were looking at I believe it was a CX-30? Yeah, it was a CX-30. Headlamp, turn signal didn't want to work, and that's when we found out that the headlamp module controls the turn signals, and you know, so headlamps and turn signals and all that stuff, they work on control area network CAN communication. So, you know, if the cluster is not getting any power and the turn signal tells the cluster module that we need to turn the turn signal on, turn signal or the cluster then tells the front module that we got to turn the turn signal on, and the front module tells the headlamp module that we got to turn the turn signal on, and the headlamp module turns the turn signal on. That's the way it works. So yeah, it's not, you know, old school where we got wires, you know, going directly through the cluster and stuff like that. Anyway, what we're gonna have to do is pull the cluster out, and it is late in the day right now, so it's probably something that we're gonna have to do tomorrow. But just to show you, I need to pull this threshold plate off. I need to pull this kick panel off. I need to get this undercover panel off. I need to get this panel right here off, and this right here. So starting on the other side, let's look at the other side. Coming over here, I need to take this off, which I've taken a ton of these things off before, but never in a CX-70. So this should just have a bunch of clips. I gotta grab this and pull it off. I need to look into it. Because our cluster hood bezel is stuck underneath this, so this has to come off, this has to come off, so I can get this off so we can get to the cluster. This hood bezel is probably connected to this right here. The steering column upper cover, so that's gonna have to come off. So we got to get all this stuff off just to get the cluster out, and that is just so that I can look at the back of the cluster and see if it's plugged in. One thing we definitely want to check are these switches right here. So this turns the cluster brighter, this turns the cluster dimmer, so it's a dimmer switch for the cluster. Maybe that's not plugged in. I don't know how many miles are on this thing. Probably not a lot. So it's just weird that it just went out. There's a possibility that it wasn't plugged in properly at the factory, and it didn't click in, you know, and I was driving it around, it finally pulled out enough that it's not connecting. I'm hoping that's all that it is. But because it's a brand new vehicle and it is a 2025 CX-70, I am probably going to have to contact Techline. I need to look into that. A lot of these vehicles, whenever they are brand new, You have to contact TechLine if they come in for any kind of service, anything other than like an oil change or something like that. You have to contact them because they want to know. They want to know if you got a brand new vehicle and it has an issue. We want to know what the issue is so that we can help you diagnose it, so that they can go on the record as saying yes we are, or no, we're not seeing a certain amount of issues with these brand new vehicles that are coming out. So Mazda stays on top of that. Most franchises do. They want to know when their brand new vehicle is just dropped off, has an issue. They want to be able to get on top of it before it becomes a major issue. So I've never seen this before, especially on the CX-70, brand new, 2025. So yeah, we're going to end up pulling that cluster out. So I'm going to start tearing that thing apart. It is 5:35 right now. I'll tear it apart and just see how far I get, and then we'll finish it up tomorrow, or finish tearing it apart tomorrow. So we'll see. Let's go. All right, this is something that I should have probably done from the beginning, and that is I got the MDARS hooked up. It's a dead link connector because, as you've seen, I've taken all this off or whatever, and of course it's not really telling us anything more than we already know, and that's right here. This is instrument cluster. And if I click on that, basically it says that the module didn't respond. So, it has no communication. And all these other ones that you see in yellow, like the CMU, it lost communication with the instrument cluster. The DSC, which is traction control, lost communication with the instrument cluster. The PCM lost communication with the instrument cluster. So that's all of these, even the TCM, the SAS control module. So they've all lost communication with the instrument cluster. So that's it. The BCM, VCM, everything, lost communication because the instrument cluster is not communicating. Is it because it has no power, or did it unplug, or is it bad? Something go on. So that's what we're trying to figure out. This didn't help us. There's no codes in this system that tell us, hey, the instrument cluster is bad, so replace it. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did. And a lot of people do think that. A lot of people think, hey, just get your technician to hook up a scanner and then it'll tell them what to fix. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Oh, I wish it did, but then again, if it did, it would be too easy, and, then they wouldn't pay us to do it, right? So, that is going to be pretty much it for today. I am pretty close. So, I just need to take some screws out right here. So y'all saw me taking this thing apart. I didn't want to disconnect this from the harness because, as you can see, the start stop button is in this piece right here, and I may need to turn the key on. But let's see, I got a screw right there, I got one right here. This is got some clips in it. It is attached with this piece of fabric here to this upper cluster cover. Let's see if I can pull this off. No, my fingers aren't strong enough. But and then we can take this bezel off, and then we'll have a couple other screws, and then we can pull the cluster out, and then we can look behind it and see, is it plugged in? Is it not plugged in? What's going on? Maybe, we do the, traditional unplug and plug back in and it'll work fine. You know, it's just kind of like turn it off, turn it back on, see if it works. You know, actually that's a good idea. You know, maybe we should have just disconnected the battery. Probably should have disconnected the battery before pulling all this stuff off anyway. So I'll probably go in and disconnect the negative battery terminal, but that's one way to turn it off and turn it back on. Disconnect the battery, wait a while, connect it back up, and then see if it works. So we'll probably try that first thing tomorrow morning, and then we'll disconnect the battery and start pulling this out the rest of the way. This is a CX-70. It's not any different than a CX-90. So it's got the battery, you know, tucked away really safe right here. And I can see the negative battery terminal right there, and I am going to try and get to that terminal and disconnect it without pulling this off. So that, my friends, is a challenge right there. That's a challenge. Can you do it? Yeah, I think I can. You know, it's a long enough extension. I can reach my hand back here, so I should be able to get an extension right there with a 10mm socket, loosen that terminal, and then pull it off with my hand like that. Do not, and I repeat, do not take this off thinking that you're disconnecting the negative battery terminal, because you're not. All you're doing is disconnecting ground for a bunch of other modules, and then it will throw you for a loop. You can't get the thing started, it won't move, it thinks it's in not park, and it really is in park, and you can't move the shifter. Yeah, don't do that. That is a nightmare. That's a nightmare. Don't do that. But that's pretty much it for today. It's the end of the day. I know I started really late, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Well, good morning. What are we doing? What are we doing today? What's the first thing? More coffee. No, wait. I gotta disconnect this battery. Disconnect the battery. Let me see if I can find a socket. Little reach down in there. Yeah. So this is what I'm dealing with. See if I can get that out of there. See if I can stand this camera up without knocking everybody down. So I'm going to disconnect this battery, and then we're going to let the vehicle sit for a while so that it can discharge all the capacitors and all that other stuff, and then, you know, see what happens. Wow, that didn't seem like it was very tight. Let's see if I can get my hand in here. Okay. I mean, yeah, I got it off. So the good thing about it is it's not bolted down with a bracket like the positive battery terminal is. So it's got this bracket and everything in there. So now I know you can't see it. It's off. So it's just sitting on the side. So I am going to let it sit like that, and I need to go look at another vehicle. So I will be back, and we'll put that back together, and then we'll see if it's fixed. So I'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. Oh wait, you didn't go anywhere. I did. Yeah, it's been hours. It has been hours. So I just keep getting pulled away. Get pulled away. I got CX-30s coming in with noise, weird noise coming from the front of the vehicle because a technician that rotated the tires can't tighten the lug nuts properly. Yeah, I got CX-30 with trying to to program the key fob. A key fob won't program properly, and it takes forever to try and program a key fob just to find out that the parts department gave us the wrong key. Yeah, I mean, you can't tell, they all look the same, you know, so unless you're the parts guy looking up the part number, the correct part number, you know, I mean, you don't know. So it's just a waste of time. Situation normal, you know, it's a waste of time. Got a Mazda 3 with a blower motor going out, so that one's legitimate, you know. Anyway, so it's been hours. Let's plug this thing in and see what happens. Let's put the negative battery terminal on and see if this thing works or not. And if it does, then I'm gonna call that a win for sure. Especially on a day like today, it is just not a good day. I don't know, you know, I mean, it's the way it goes. Can I get my hand in here? I can kind of reach it, yeah, okay. So I'm hearing things clicking all over the place. Put this in there, tighten it up. That's good and tight. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens. I mean, you know, it's worth a shot. Just unplug it and plug it back in. Where's the switch? Look at that. Are you kidding me? You have got to be kidding me. This is... Okay, you know, I'm not gonna get mad. This is a win. This is a win. It's just a weird day. What? Okay. Yeah. I don't know what to say. Let me start it up. So now we should have turn signals. Yep, turn signals working. Right there, you can see it. Headlamps working, turn the headlamps off. I mean, come on, you know. Yes. I mean, what am I supposed to say? It's working. Oh God. So sometimes you just gotta turn it off and turn it back on. That's ridiculous. So I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you the reason for this. I still need to look in the VIS and see if this is one of the vehicles that needs to be that I'm supposed to contact Techline for, because if it is, I gotta contact them anyway, because you know, it's the rule. We get in trouble if we don't, and I understand it. They need to know, you know, if their new vehicles are having problems so that they can fix them on the assembly line or whatever. I don't know the real reason, but you know, it makes sense. It makes sense that they want to get on top of it before it becomes a real problem. Chances are this is not one of those vehicles, because my service advisor should have told me, hey, this is one of the ones that we need to contact Techline. But I don't know the history of this. This vehicle was, well, let's check the mileage. I didn't even check the mileage on it. So the vehicle was sold to this customer, but not from this dealer. So and what does that matter? How would that make any difference? So it has 1,924 miles. So how would that make any difference? Well, it, you know, should have had the new car get ready done. It should have had the PDI done. I did look at the VIS yesterday, and it showed that it did have a PDI. It did have a new car get ready done, but not the PDI. How does that happen? I don't know. But then again, you know, how can you trust it? You know, can you trust it? Was the new car get ready really done, or was it just written up and the technician's like, you know, let's adjust the tires and then it's gone or whatever? And the reason why I'm saying is the battery could have had a problem with it. Maybe the battery was weak whenever the customer bought it, it had been sitting out on the lot. The technician jump-started it to do the new car get ready. It had left it run, and the battery never actually had enough time to charge up properly, and then it had some kind of a little quirk thing. Maybe the customer left the key on or something like that, and it drained the battery down enough that he had to jump start it, maybe, or maybe, and these Mazdas, you don't necessarily have to jump start them, you know, to have them have problems. You get a battery that's weak and they got problems, electrical problems. The things use so much power and the electronical systems that the batteries can't be weak. They just can't be weak. They'll have issues. They will throw tons of codes and lack of communication and stuff like that. And my guess is maybe the battery had been weak enough to have some kind of little quirk or something go weird inside that cluster. Oh my God. So, you know, I tore that interior apart for nothing, you know, for nothing. But should have done this from the beginning. So, you know, put a pin in this, you know, remember this. You get some kind of weird thing going on with your vehicle, disconnect the battery, you know, let it sit a while and then plug it back in, you know. For Mazdas, they tell you to, they call it a keep alive memory. So you disconnect the negative battery terminal, put your foot on the brake for 5-10 seconds, you know, and that's it, and it will pull the capacitor, it will drain the capacitors and all of the modules on the vehicle, and then plug it back in. That's what they call clear and keep alive memory. For Kia, they call it capacitive discharge procedure, and for Kia you disconnect the negative and positive battery terminals and then you put them together for a couple seconds, and then you do that and then you put them back on. For Mazda, you do not want to do that. Mazda says don't do that. If you take both the positive and negative battery terminals apart or disconnect them from the battery, there's still charge in some modules and stuff like that because of capacitors, and you put those together, it can cause a short and it can blow a module out. Mazda says don't do that. So Mazda says just disconnect the negative battery terminal and then put your foot on the brake, you know, to and the brake switch should drain any of the capacitors down. I didn't even put my foot on the brake. I just disconnected the battery, negative battery terminal, and I walked away for, you know, many hours. It's just like half the day's gone already. So ain't no sense in showing you putting all this back together. You saw me take it apart. I wish that we could have done more, but you know, it's fixed. It's fixed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check the codes and make sure there aren't any other codes, and if there are, I'm gonna clear them. I'm gonna put everything back together. I'm gonna double check the vis on this thing and see if I need to contact Techline. If I do, then I'll contact them and I'll tell them what I did. And if I have to do that and Mazda says, oh no, you need to do this and this and this, then I'll bring you back, but I'm pretty sure this is the end of this video. So I thank you so much for sticking around. I appreciate the heck out of each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one. In all the world, you'll never find a cluster as dark as mine. Wonder what George Strait's doing. Haven't heard anything in a while.